What's up folks, I'm Private Hudson and today we're going to be taking a look at Industries of Titan. This is a brand new game that just came out in early access in April and is currently exclusive to the Epic Games Store. It'll come out on Steam once it's finished, which might be sometime in 2021. I bought this immediately the day it came out and I should have known better, especially since I've covered plenty of games that are in early access in the past, but I just could not resist. I love sci-fi, I love the game's ultra-capitalistic dystopian theme, I love survival games, I love colony/city builders, and I had a $10 Epic Games Store coupon that was about to expire. Having just missed their big store sale, I had to use it on something. The game certainly has potential, it's the future, and you're tasked with attempting to colonize Titan, the moon around Saturn. You start off with 5 workers and a headquarters building. Meanwhile, almost the entire terrain is covered in ruins. These are ruined buildings of your predecessors who have all failed to colonize the moon. You work for the council and need to use influence points to buy the surrounding land from them. You can then survey the ruined buildings for resources, claim the land that they are on, salvage the building to get the resources, and then build on that cleared piece of land. There are currently 4 resources in the game. Minerals, which are used to build pretty much everything. Isotopes, which are generally used to upgrade buildings, red artifacts, which can be given to the council for a large number of influence points or used to convert civilians into additional workers, and finally waste, which is, as you've probably guessed, just pure waste. What separates Industries of Titan from other colony or city building games is that here you actually build things inside your structures. Basically, you start off with a headquarters building. You salvage the surrounding ruins around you, but where do you store the resources? By building a storage container inside your HQ. Alright, then you need electricity so that you can start expanding. How? By building an energy generator also inside your HQ. But it needs fuel to run, so you build a fuel turbine inside your HQ. See how that works? You're basically playing Tetris inside your headquarters to utilize every tile for maximum efficiency. Upgrading your HQ gives you an additional floor where you can continue building these facilities. But then you start building structures outside. You need energy pylons to move electricity from one structure to another, and then you build a factory where inside you can build habitat pods to house civilians, monetization stations where your civilians watch ads 24/7 to generate credits. Yes, I'm serious again, I love these ultra-capitalist parodies. And last but not least, conversion capsules where you use a red artifact to, quote-unquote, voluntarily convert a normal human civilian into a half-man, half-machine, obedient worker who never needs to eat, sleep, or crap. Ran out of space to build in your factory? Well, you can upgrade it to get another floor, or build another factory right next to it and connect the 2 buildings together to double the tile space inside. There's a bit more to it than that, but the game has an excellent in-game tutorial that teaches you all of these things and more, and is voiced by an interesting cast of characters. So the game has a unique theme, excellent presentation, fantastic voice acting, and an equally fantastic soundtrack, done none other than by Danny Baranowski, who did the soundtrack for games like Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. So what exactly is wrong with Industries of Titan, then? Well, once you've finished the tutorial, which will take you somewhere between 45 minutes to about an hour, you'll have seen basically all of the content that currently exists. After that, the game turns into a poor man's They Are Billions, except instead of getting attacked by a zombie horde every so often, here you get attacked by rebels. The number of rebel camps that exist depends on the map and the difficulty that you choose at the start, and the only goal right now is to wipe out all the rebel camps. The combat is practically non-existent. The rebel camps send out a ship or 2 that attack random buildings in your colony, and the only thing that you can do against them is to build sentry guns that do barely any damage, take forever to reload, and take forever to spin to reach their target. Also, once you reach this point in the game, you'll have amassed infinite amount of credits so you can unlock all the other structures. And these structures are simply the same facilities that you've placed inside your headquarters and your factory. That structure is now its own dedicated building. So at this point, the game's most interesting aspect of playing Tetris inside buildings, trying to maximize space, gets eliminated. After all, what's the point of building more factories to build more generators or habitation pods inside of them when you can just build a power plant instead, or a residential building which will house the civilians for you? And unlike the headquarters or the factory, you cannot build facilities inside these structures. And they are billions. You had a gameplay loop where you constantly need to expand while also being able to defend. Need more soldiers? Well, you need more people. So you have to build more houses to get more people. Can't build any more houses because you've run out of food? Build more farms. Ran out of space to build more farms? Well, destroy your walls and try to expand your perimeter a little further. And that is what Industries of Titan becomes at this stage. You expand your territory by building command centers so that you can claim land that is further away from your HQ. But they need power to run, so you need to build energy pylons to spread the power to them. But everything needs electricity, so you need to build more power plants, but they need more fuel, so you need to build more fuel turbines. But some buildings require workers, and since you'll be constantly mining and moving and using resources, you'll always need more workers, so you'll be building more conversion centers to convert more civilians into more workers. And what happens when you finally reach one of these rebel camps? You discover that these camps, which have completely annihilated all previous attempts at colonizing the moon, are made up of a couple of homeless shelters and a spaceport. And how do you defeat them? Is there any combat aside from defending your structures with defense turrets? No. You click on the rebel building and then you click on dismantle. It's that laughable. Industries of Titan is in an extreme state of early access. This is almost as early access as you can get. To the developers' credit, they were patching it on a near daily basis in April and the first half of May. In one of these patches, they addressed one of my biggest concerns about the launch state of the game. There was no global way to monitor the amount of fuel and energy you had. You had to hover your mouse over an energy-producing building to see if you still had enough energy to build something else. It was a huge hassle, but luckily, they patched it quickly, and now you can see the global counter of energy and fuel on the top right. Then they announced that the first Tuesday of every month will be known as Titan Tuesday, where a significant content update will be released. This month we got trucks. Well, trucks, roads, and transportation hubs. The thought behind this update is that workers will use trucks to move resources from one place to another. Trucks can carry 5 of one resources, whereas a worker can only carry 1. The problem here is that it doesn't work. I have 2 transportation hubs, I have about 15 trucks manufactured, but I've only seen at most 1 or 2 of them ever being used. New bugs have also been introduced to this update. When loading a game, you no longer see the number of rebel camps that are still on the map and when the next rebel attack will occur. Instead, you have to quit your save, go back to the main menu, and load the same save up again. Another bug is that I can no longer burrow my buildings. This isn't something I mentioned before because it's something that I've rarely ever done, and now I can no longer do it. One of the quote-unquote combat mechanics is that you can burrow some of your buildings underground so that they do not get damaged by rebel attacks. Well, that function is now permanently blocked off in my current playthrough. As you can see, that button is just grayed out for me, and I can never burrow or do anything of that again. Lastly, the biggest bug is that workers get stuck or just remain idle. They released an advanced job priority menu, but all that did was just break worker AI. I could have around 40 workers with a bunch of construction waste removal, mining, salvaging, and so many other jobs in the queue, but only like 10 of them would actually be doing something, while the rest would either walk in place and be stuck or just stand around doing nothing. And of course, the 10 or so workers that would actually be, working would be walking miles to the job instead of taking a goddamn truck. I don't understand how the game is worse now than it was on launch. The only content that they have added is the roads and trucks, but doing so has broken everything else that, at least for me, worked perfectly in the past. I'll continue checking back on this game because it does have potential. I love the theme, I love the soundtrack, I love its parody of ultra-capitalism, and I love the aspect of building facilities within your structures and trying to maximize the amount of efficiency and space that you can use to... I just love that. However, in its current state, I cannot recommend it. It is not worth the $30 that it currently goes for in the Epic Games Store, and it certainly wasn't worth the $20 that I paid for it using the coupon that I had. Also, the fact that their big monthly content update released content that doesn't even work and broke everything else in the game, that's just a very poor sign for its future. Alright folks, that's the end of this video. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you folks next time.